children. Today we will have the recap of the chapter History of Computers. Present-day computer is a product of many improvements over a period of time. In this chapter, we will learn about the history of computers from the beginning. Look at the pictures below. The pictures given below, you can see the first picture shows some stones. Second picture is some sticks. Third picture, you can see the foot and the toes. The fourth picture, you can see fingers. The pictures that we have seen previously are nothing but people used as calculating devices. That is, it were the devices used in very earlier days. That's why it is called early calculating devices. So that time man used stones, sticks, fingers, pebbles or again stones, etc. But what the man found was that those early calculating devices were not enough for calculation. That is, they found out limitations. Fingers and 10 toes were not enough for calculating. And these limitations caused man to construct a tool to help in calculations, and that they named it as mechanical calculating devices. So, first stage of history of computers was early calculating devices. Later on, man found that early calculating devices were not enough, so they started discovering many devices which were later on called it as mechanical calculating devices. The first stage was early calculating device. The second stage was named it as mechanical calculating or counting devices. The first mechanical counting device was named as abacus. Abacus was the first calculating machine invented in China to count large numbers. It was a wooden rack holding two horizontal wires with beads strung on them. The position of the beads was changed to enter a number. Simple calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division were performed using an abacus. The second type of mechanical calculating device was Napier's bones. In 1614, John Napier invented a calculating device called Napier's bones. This device is a set of rectangular rods marked with numbers. It was meant for simple calculations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of numbers. Later, it was improved to find the square root of numbers. After mechanical counting device, the third stage of calculation was electromechanical counting devices. That is, the first was early calculating device, second was mechanical counting device, third one is electromechanical counting device. By the term itself, you can understand electromechanical, that means electricity and mechanical energies are required to perform the function of these counting devices. Now let us see what are the different electromechanical counting devices. The first electromechanical counting device is named as Pascaline. Blaise Pascal invented the first mechanical calculator in 1642. It was named Pascaline. It had a box with 8 movable wheels called dials. The numbers for calculations were entered with dials. It could add, subtract, divide and multiply numbers as big as thousands. The second type of electromechanical counting device is Leibniz calculator. Mathematician Gottfried Leibniz built a calculator in 1671 that could add, subtract, multiply and divide numbers. It could also find square roots. The third type of electromechanical counting device is Jacquard loom. In 1801, J.M. Jacquard invented a powered loom that used punched wooden cards to automatically weave incredibly detailed patterns, including pictures and texts. This can be taken as a first read-only memory device. The next electromechanical counting device is called Babbage's engine. Charles Babbage, a mathematics professor, designed an automatic calculating machine in 1822. He called it difference engine. In 1823, he thought of a mechanical construction which was known as mechanical digital computer. Babbage called this as analytical engine. This provided a base for the development of modern computer. Charles Babbage is rightly called the father of computers. Next heading under electromechanical counting device is Boolean logic. George Boole designed the Boolean logic, which became the fundamental principle for designing computer circuits. The next stage is electronic counting device. In 1889, an American named Herman Hollerith invented a counting machine to count the population of USA. It was one of the main electronic counting devices. It was based on punch cards. Herman Hollerith was the founder of the company that became famous as IBM. After the electronic counting device stage, the next or the last stage of history of computers were modern calculating devices. Under modern calculating device, you can see 4 devices were found out. The first one is ABC, second one Z3, third one Harvard Mark I, fourth one is ENIAC and UNIVAC. The first modern calculating device, ABC. It was the first digital electronic computer. The major developments took place in the calculating devices in the 20th and early 21st centuries. The first computer prototype was built by John V. Atanasoff and Clifford E. Berry. It had vacuum tubes instead of mechanical switches. It was called Atanasoff-Berry Computer ABC. It used the binary number system like a modern computer. Z3. Z3 was an electromechanical computer designed by Konrad Zuse. It was the world's first working programmable, fully automatic computing machine. It was one of the first machines that could be considered a complete counting machine. Harvard Mark I. Harvard Mark I computer was built in partnership between Harvard and IBM in 1944. This was the first programmable digital computer made in the US, but it was not a purely electronic computer. The machine weighed 5 tons and had 500 miles of wires. It was 8 feet in height and 51 feet in length. ENIAC and UNIVAC. The first fully functional electronic digital computer to be built in the US was ENIAC, that is Electronic Numerical Integrator and Calculator. It was somewhat similar to the earlier computers, but was considerably larger and more flexible. UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computer, was the first commercial computer produced in the United States.